In September 2019, the West Country Rivers Trust teamed up with the Bioregional Learning Centre for South Devon to organise a water resilience summit in Totnes. The event was supported by the Interreg 2C's Pro Water project, which is a partnership project focusing on water resources management issues and ecosystem adaptation across the south of England, Flanders and the Netherlands. The aim of the Water Resilience Summit was to initiate an open, honest and inclusive conversation about water resilience both now and in the future. The event aimed to provide a forum for the exchange of information and for the provision of emotional and practical inspiration and guidance of support for a broad array of people. The design of the event, the aim was to build a shared understanding amongst a broad array of stakeholders of how our local water environment provides us all with benefits every day. We also wanted to discuss what the resilience of the water environment, or its non-resilience, might mean for people, communities, businesses and nature over the next 10 to 20 years as the impacts of climate change begin to be felt. We really wanted the event to have as broad an audience as possible, including as many concerned citizens, local businesses, environmental professionals and community representatives as possible. All the participants at the event were actively encouraged to voice any worries or concerns or questions that they had about the issue of water resilience, and indeed resilience, climate adaptation, and all of these other issues more generally as well. The approach that we took was to assemble a panel of what we called resilience champions from a diverse array of backgrounds and from across the whole of the southwest and further afield. You can see the programme here shown on this slide. The challenge that we set the champions was to give an honest appraisal of the situation as they understand it, and to try and answer people's questions, and also to openly admit that they didn't know if they didn't know the answer to a question. We wanted to reassure people. We did not want to placate them or fob them off with platitudes such as everything's going to be okay, don't worry. We wanted the champions to acknowledge that we are in an emergency situation with the impending arrival of climate change impacts, but we didn't want to scare people, and we certainly didn't want to perpetuate the evident perception amongst many stakeholders that nothing is being done in relation to water resilience. So we asked the champions to try and give people hope and to empower them by answering their questions and offering pragmatic, practical advice about what they could do in order to make themselves more resilient, or what could be done collectively. And the speakers were curated and sequenced, as you can see in the programme, to develop a clear narrative exploring a whole suite of different landscape types sequentially. And each speaker was asked to focus on just one aspect of the issue in their landscape and explain why that thing was important, say soil for example, discuss whether or not they considered it to be resilient now, to explore what the consequences of that thing not being resilient in the future might be, and also to try and paint a picture, if you like, of what that feature in the landscape or that issue would need to be like in the future if it is to be resilient and withstand the challenges that lie ahead. So it was quite a challenging remit for the champions, but they all did a fantastic job. So the event unfolded through that day. We had 160 plus people sign up for the event, and around 130 people attended on the day. We had contributions from 30 resilience champions, and there were probably 10 to 20 other resilience champions who would love to have contributed but couldn't for whatever reason on the day. We also had 6 exhibits showcasing projects and work that was already being done in relation to water resilience. And during the day we collected over 160 questions and other contributions, comments from the participants, which I'll come on to later in the talk. We also launched at the event the Water Resilience Hub idea, which was originally taking the physical form of a geodesic dome. And the idea was that we would take the hub out into communities to try and continue the discussion that we'd initiated at the Water Resilience Summit in those communities about water resilience. So during the event we undertook some evaluation, very simply just asking the participants as they arrived a set of questions and then re-asking them their their answers again at the end of the event. And so we asked them, how aware are you of the work being done to build water resilience and to adapt to climate change? And as you can see from this graphic, that actually we did achieve a significant change in the level of awareness of the participants through the event. So that indicates that we were hopefully successful to one degree or another in raising people's awareness of water resilience and adaptation to climate change. We also asked people about their readiness to act. How ready are you to take action to build water resilience and adapt your lifestyle, the way you live your life in relation to water? And again, we achieved a significant change from between the start and the end of the event, which was encouraging. The final question we asked them was about their anxiety level. So we asked them, how worried or anxious are you about water resilience and climate change impacts on water? And in this case, we didn't significantly shift the level of anxiety that they reported to have, although obviously some people did experience change. If anything, some people were less anxious by the end, and some people were more anxious by the end. So again, that warrants further investigation to try and see how people's anxiety levels shifted in response to the messaging and the language that they received during the event. So the other thing we did during the day is we ran a swap shop. This was to encourage this exchange of information. We really wanted people to come with questions, with asks. I would like to know, I'd like to learn, I'd like to be reassured, contribute, participate, take action. But also we wanted people to come with an offer. So maybe answering some of those questions in the case of the Resilience Champions, or offering opportunities for people to get involved and contribute to building water resilience. Suggestions about what people can do to be more resilient, and even offering reassurance about the future. We use this to try and really generate that exchange of information and support, mutual support. And indeed, it was quite successful. We had a wall that people posted their responses and questions and concerns on, and we listed 160 responses, which we've been subsequently looking through and reviewing and using to shape our actions following the summit. And when that work continues, one of the things that we've initiated is off the back of this is the Water Resilient Communities project, which I'll come on to shortly. So we've done a lot more thinking about this and trying to explain what is water resilience. And obviously it needs a whole system approach, and we've been doing a lot of work looking at the way that the natural water cycle and the human water cycle interact with each other. You need both the green and the grey infrastructure to be healthy and functioning in order for both to be resilient. They put pressure on each other when they're not functioning properly. And it's this interaction between the human and the natural water cycle, where environmental infrastructure exists, where the real pressure comes on and where resilience is most quickly compromised. And that's where we need to focus our action in order to build resilience. And so we come up with this idea of the 4 building blocks or pillars of water resilience. So answering this question, how do we help build water resilient communities? And the answer is that we come up with is that it's through the building and the alignment of social capital, knowledge capital, and natural capital, combined hopefully with the financial, the monetary resources that you need in order to take action. And it's from this concept that we have initiated the WaterTight Water Resilient Communities initiative. So the WaterTight Water Resilient Communities initiative is a new programme. It's just started nearly a year after the summit. And essentially what we're doing is we're operationalising a whole raft of ideas that came out of the summit. So we have created a Water Resilient Communities Fund. We have created a virtual version of the Water Resilience Hub, which we call the Library, which will fill the gap during coronavirus, during that time while the Water Resilience Hub itself cannot be deployed. And that virtual Water Resilience Hub is actually being launched at this conference. We've initiated with the Bioregional Learning Centre a Resilience Cafe, a safe space for people to come to and share information and learning and mutual support. We've initiated the WaterTight Challenge and the Sub 100 Club, which you can find out more about and sign up to at the www.watertight.community website, which is on the screen now. And we're about to initiate the Water Resilient Communities Living Lab pilot, which is a project to see if we can establish Totnes and Dartington in South Devon as the UK's first truly water resilient communities. So that's very exciting. We don't know how that's going to pan out, but we're optimistic. And if you want to follow our progress, then please do get in touch with us or follow the latest news from the project on the website as shown. Thank you very much.